Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
Home renovation spending soars to $12 billion as locked-down Aussies extend, beautify their houses. Australians have spent more on home renovations during the pandemic years than at any other time since records began 50 years ago. New data shows how houseproud we became, particularly once the initial shock of the pandemic began to wear off. As COVID landed, spread and paralysed much of Australian life, with state and international borders closed and entire cities locked down, we began spending more on renovations, up 10% to $9.2 billion. But last year it must have felt safer to bet the house, with Australian Bureau of Statistics figures showing renovators poured a massive $12.3 billion into renovating their homes, up 33% on 2020. That is almost double what we spent on renovations just 10 years ago. Alongside the pandemic forcing us to stay home was the Federal HomeBuilder scheme that paid out between $15,000 and $25,000 to those willing to undertake a major renovation. It was designed as a stimulus measure in response to COVID, and since its launch, almost 25,000 renovators have applied. But not everyone was driven by the promise of free money. Others were already designing their dream renovation before COVID arrived. McGahan was one of them, and she was not about to allow a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic to derail her plans. From tired beach shack to stunning dream home, her family bought their seaside home on the Sunshine Coast almost 10 years ago for about $400,000. In 2019, they had already begun planning to convert their aging beach shack into a two-story home with water views. Ms. McGahan said moving did not feel like an option, because this was the only home her 7-year-old son Watson and 5-year-old daughter Evelyn had known. "This is a really special spot for us," she said. "We got married out on that beach, we brought our 2 babies home here. We knew that is what we wanted to do, to renovate and build on what we had already created, just with a little bit more room for the children." Demolition at the Golden Beach site began just as Queensland Premier Annastacia Palaszczuk and Chief Health Officer Jeannette Young ordered the entire state to stay at home, and that most businesses be shut down. Although building could continue, they could not escape the spectre of COVID. "We didn't know if we would have any job security," she said. "Once we had realized that we were safe in our jobs, and that yes, we can actually pay for this renovation with what is going on, and all the craziness, it continued to flow from there." "Oh mate, we are flat out." Zane McCarthy from Top Plate Building was the renovating builder behind the McGahans project. He said it was no surprise to him that renovation numbers were breaking records. "Oh mate, we are flat out, we get enquiries, probably 2 to 3 a week, and everyone is renovating," he said. Read more. He said people were watching their house values go up, but it was often not enough to buy something bigger. "I think everyone is at home watching the house value go up and thinking, I can borrow some money here. And to buy a new house somewhere else is just not affordable." Mr McCarthy said one of his projects was a major renovation so the daughter could live nearby. They looked at house prices in the area and it wasn't affordable, so they renovating this place and they all staying together. What happens when all the cheap homes are gone? The housing crisis across parts of the country is now critical, with those unable to buy also being turned away from the rental market. Pastor Dale Dowler, from the Shack Community Centre on Queensland's Sunshine Coast, has spent decades working with those either sleeping rough or at risk of homelessness. Read more. He said the rise in renovations might mean higher rents for homeowners, but it also meant fewer affordable homes for those who needed it. "People are investing in homes and then putting it back on the rental market, but it has priced a lot of community out of that rental market," he said. "We've had families that are still sending their kids to school, but they living in vans." And he uses himself as an example, after paying to renovate his own home so his children have a place to call home. "We bought our house 18 years ago and the cost was $116,000. That same renovated house now is over $700,000. And finally, The flow on from the floods. It is not just the price of homes that is more expensive. A national lack of building supplies is likely to become more intense as parts of the country rush to rebuild after devastating floods. Mr McCarthy said while his projects continued, there had to be a knock-on effect from the flood disasters. It's already affecting us now, he said. We probably already delayed a week to get materials we already ordered. It's going to be hell for 12 months. ABC Sunshine Coast will